Sorry about that, man. I'm having to do
Okay.
a screen recording, so it's for this class where I'm doing like nurture ministries with Clancy Hayes. I told you about, and
Yeah.
so I got to interview a few people. So this is being recorded. I don't know if it's. I think you legally have to say that in California. So since you are there, I'm legally obligated to tell you you're being recorded. So
I approve.
I knew you would. I knew you would. Hey man, thanks for doing a solid for me. I wanted to interview you. I got a chance to interview the DYD up here, and a few other guys. I got to interview a guy who had an MDiv from Duke, but I wanted to get you because I knew and know that you are going to be just the next big young adult guy the whole world's ever seen. In case Clancy Hayes, Dr. Hayes, doesn't know, you are the young adult pastor at Visalia First. You're rocking a couple hundred, right? 200 on average, somewhere in there.
It's more like 180 on average. We've
Oh,
seen
you're
those
being humble.
spikes of like no, I mean we've seen those spikes up to like 220, 230, but we haven't sustained that. So no, we're not there.
That's awesome, though, man. That's awesome. The fact that you can say 180 and in Visalia, where the biggest college is College of the Sequoias,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's not like USC is around the corner. It's
Oh
not
man,
like
we'd be humming.
definitely, definitely. So I sent you a few of those mock questions
Yeah.
that I've been talking to a few people, but I wanted to get some that's knowing and kind of preparing to talk to you about it because I know we got to be quick. I know you're about to have some stuff going on, so this could only be about 10 minutes or so. What keeps you, or what helps you disciple your young adults so that way they not only transition from that high school phase or even that college phase into being a regular member of the church? How do you make that transition on discipleship? What are you working with?
It's not as clean as we want it to be, but the staples are involvement, and involvement is huge. So Sunday morning is an anchor. If we can get them involved in Sunday morning as an usher, greeter, kids ministry, middle school, um, worship, prayer partners, any kind of volunteer position, then it adds another depth of relationship. And so that's a huge discipleship piece because discipleship is built exclusively upon relationship.
Awesome.
And there's tools that help you get there, but
Definitely. You along with everyone else I've interviewed, that seems to be the kind of the common denominator, right? Is relationships. What do you think are? What's your formula when it comes to building a relationship? What are some must-haves, or you could even say what events do you create, or when you come to the table to bring a new thing, and you're saying, all right, we're going to build relationships. What are some must-haves? Whether it's for the relationship to take place or an event to take place to build relationships, what are some must-haves I need if I want to build relationships with people?
well, I think that the biggest thing is you have to be intentional. So because the kingdom of God is not a product, we're not selling iPhones, we're not selling McDonald's burgers, we're not selling vehicles. We are in the business of people. So every opportunity, if it is while you're walking into a grocery store, for me, a college campus, Sunday morning, a handshake could lead to a staff member.
Hmm.
So that now means that the currency is interaction. The only way for the interaction to be important is if you're intentional. Because that's the only thing that anybody would lack is intentionality, so that you're seeing every opportunity as this could be the moment where it shifts in somebody's life and they change. So every moment, you have to be on it, because you might be in a moment where you're gonna acquire what I call your next Rottweiler,
Oh shoot, man, there's
and
some
all
good
you
ones
gotta
there.
do
I
is
love that
let the
you might
Rottweiler
inquire your
off
next
the leash.
Rottweiler, and then I love that a handshake might lead to a staff member, right? Because we
Yeah,
don't know who's coming in through the front door, whether they're hurt or they're just looking for they just moved in town and they already love Jesus,
yeah,
or they're looking for a safe place just to hang out for a few hours. We never know, and that handshake means so much. I can think of a few people right off the top of my head who, man, they were like key stars for me for Easter this year, and they started coming to church after I did, started
right,
working here, and so
yeah,
I shook their hand the first 10 steps in the door. Hey, I'm Ryan. I don't know you, and that was
mm-hmm.
I mean that was glue, right? And
Yep.
so that's super super sweet. One thing I'm still kind of struggling with, maybe you can help me out here, because a lot of these questions we definitely I think see eye to eye on. One thing that I'm struggling with is by a book named by James Wilhoit, and it's called Formation as if the Church Mattered. You'd like it. The foreword's by Dallas Willard, so you know it's a good book. Um, but he has a chapter in there about allowing and being intentional. Speaking of intentionality, on helping the people we disciple remember what the gospel's all about, right? And he did this really cool illustration about the bigger we understand the gospel, the more we understand our sin, and the more we understand God is holy. So how do we, especially as a young adult pastor, how do you make sure that your audience remembers the gospel and how important it is?
That's a great question. Simplistically, we don't.
That's it, man. I love the honesty. You have no idea. I miss you so much.
Yeah, I don't know what Dr. Hayes is going to say when he hears that. But
he's gonna be so excited to see your face.
Yeah, well, I love him to death, and he knows that. So I would say, I mean, honestly, it's through preaching, it's through leadership development, but I would say ultimately that also is up to the person to remember. And because you're going to get wound up around the axle in ministry, because ministry is everything, but then everyone's going to tell you it's a singular one thing, and it sounds like this guy's trying to say, don't forget the one thing. Well, ministry is business, it's marketing, it's prayer, it's discipleship, it's entrepreneurship, it's communication,
it's counseling, it's all of those things.
Man,
yeah,
it's so many different things that to have to remember the one thing that one person says, you're gonna add that list up to don't forget the 100 things that you're supposed to say every week.
Yeah.
And so I think that while that's undoubtedly true, the gospel is holy. We have to remember God is a holy God, and all of that. I think that's probably more caught than taught, because it's going to be laced around everything you do, instead of it being like the one trumpet you're blowing all the time.
Gotcha. Well, hey, 2 more questions, because I know we got about 6 more minutes till you gotta get to your next appointment. So let's see if we can try to squeeze in 2 more. The first one is there's a book out there that's edited by Michael Anthony, and it's a couple of journals, and I loved it, man. It's got a few chapters of like church history and Christian education history, a couple chapters of philosophy that you would eat up for real. Great book, and I love the first chapter. Actually goes all the way back to Deuteronomy 6:4, the Shema Yisrael, where he says that's the first command where fathers would teach their sons, love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. That was the first basically lesson in Christian education that we know of, and how it's expanded into discipleship classes and small groups, and next step classes on Sunday mornings at churches. Christian education has developed quite a bit, right? So, man, you're on the forefront of really what's going on in Central California. Can you tell me what you think Christian education is going to look like in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? I mean, what does it look like to you if you had to reinvent the wheel?
Well, I think we're seeing the day and age where people are becoming self-feeders. And what that means is you can unlock anything you want from your hand. The fact that I'm filming this on my phone right now is an indicator that I can feed my soul without walking into a building. The danger of that is that you could do exactly what I said, that church could be moved totally online, you could be streaming, you could be all these things. So the way that looks, I think, could change on how we educate people. And we're already seeing that with different churches. They're focusing so much more on their online campus and how they get more content in people's hands worldwide than they are focusing on the people in front of them on Sunday morning. So this is a fun fact, because I know we both like Elevation Church.
Yeah.
Furtick.
He's a genius. Let's just put that out there.
Yeah, he is a genius. He is preaching from 100%, okay, in numbers world, 74% of people that are a part of his church are watching him via a screen.
No way.
Yes, only
No
26%.
way. Only 25% of his church, of his
Yep.
of his audience actually goes to his
Yep.
church. 26%.
Well, they go to his church, but he has 17 locations.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
In every location, he's preaching, but he's preaching from a screen. So there's only
Wow.
26% of the church that's actually looking at him, the person.
Hmm.
The other 74% is staring at him on a screen. So I think the way that we educate, one,
Hi, Amanda.
we have to. She can't hear you.
Oh, you got headphones on.
Yeah. Ryan says, "Hey."
Hey Ryan, you're having a baby. Woo!
Clancy,
that's-
Dr. Hayes is so been like on track with this entire semester of where
Oh,
my
yeah.
baby's at.
Oh, I bet.
Hey Clancy Hayes, you're awesome.
Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Hey.
So yeah, I would say I think that that Christian education in 5 years is going to look in the way that the content will be the same, the packaging will be wildly different.
Do you think I love what you're saying there. So you think Craig Rochelle kind of stumbled upon something when they wanted to do a website and they turned it into an app, and now the small group questions that Stephen Furtick does for his small groups, I'm sure for his church, that's just the next page in the next chapter of YouVersion. It could be Elevation Church, it could be eVersion, it could be North Point version, it could be North Point version, it could be whatever they want when it comes to Google casting or Chrome casting to small groups is where you think it's going. That's awesome, man. Hey, I know you got to be fast. And so this is my last one. I asked this to a well-read guy that I got a chance to interview. If you had to pick 3 books that are absolute must-haves that every pastor has to read if they want to be sharp as a tack when it comes to talking to young adults, what are the 3 books, man? Give me some sources here. This is not part of the class. This is not part of just, man. I stumbled upon like an Amazon gift card, and I'm like, I'm gonna blow it all on books. As soon as this semester's over, I'm just gonna read all summer. So fire away.
All right. Okay, I would say The 5 Levels of Leadership by Maxwell.
Oh, you and Maxwell.
I just think that's one of like the top 10 leadership books ever written, and maybe his best. I just got done reading this morning, actually, Ready, Set, Grow by Scott Wilson, and I think it's honestly an amazing tool. I read it in 4 days, so you can read it. You can read it pretty quick. It's a discipleship machine book, is what it is.
So that is a prime discipleship book.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool.
Yeah, leadership development and discipleship. And then I would say The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg.
I was gonna say, I actually went to Portland a couple weeks ago, and I went to Powell's Books. It is the largest independent bookstore, I think, in the country or in the world. Seriously, it's like 4 Walmarts. It's huge.
Oh man.
Like each book room is the size of a Walmart, and like there'll be like the gold room, and it's nothing but fantasy. Then they have like the green. They have the largest children's book section in the world for books.
Wow.
Went and I bought Power Habits, and as soon as I saw it, I was like, honey, Alan loved this book. He said it changed his entire view on leadership. I'm about halfway done with it. I read about a chapter a night. Dude, the Insomniac chapter, like opening up, blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind. So I've been Fitbinning and running like every day ever since I started reading the book. So it's awesome, man.
Love it.
Very, very cool. Hey, I love you,
All right,
man.
brother.
When you want to come up and speak, give me a shout when you're bored, because the mountains are calling, man.
I'm bored all the time. So you just let me know.
Cool, man.
Let me know
All
when
right.
you want me, and I'll be there.
Sounds good, man. I'll talk to you later.
All right, brother.
Bye. That was awesome.